Could you imagine hearing that for the first time with like no context in 2001? Mind-boggling. Anyway, hi everyone. It's Dan. We're back again. This time around, we're gonna be taking a look and playing Halo Combat Evolved, the seminal 2001 first-person shooter released originally on the Xbox, the killer app of the console, made the brand a household name, all that sort of stuff. But if you were expecting us to be playing this off the original Xbox, unfortunately I got some bad news. I recorded the intro after the fact because it's not included on what I recorded this off of, which is the Master Chief Collection on the PC. Now, before you leave, I see you moving your cursor over to the X, over to the home screen. Stop that, please. Put your phone back in the horizontal position, or vertical, however you want to watch it, and hear me out. So, my original idea when recording this was I would be recording this off of my original Xbox. Unfortunately, I decided at the time, in a spur-of-the-moment thing, because I'd been waiting like a few years to do this, I decided to repair the clock capacitor on my Xbox, which involved taking the system apart, removing the motherboard. I actually had to get my dad's help with this last bit, which is desoldering the capacitor itself and then putting in a new one. Now, luckily, the version of my Xbox is one where I wouldn't have had to replace the clock capacitor, but I wanted to do it anyway, just so I didn't have to, have to reset the time and everything again, because that's what you would have to do. Every time you restarted your Xbox, you would have to set the date and time, because all that's handled by the capacitor, and if it goes, you can't do that anymore. If it's like a 1.6 version Xbox, then the console just won't work. You have to actually replace the clock capacitor on it. So when I first heard of Halo, ironically enough, it wasn't because of anything related to Combat Evolved. That game, it came out in 2001. I was 2 years old. I did not even know what in the hell anything was. I don't have any memories of being 2, which, if you remember anything from when you were 2, how? How? But I first learned of Halo because of a few things. One is, they're both machinimas, actually. One was a video called 100 Ways to Die in Halo 3, which was sort of a comedic way of showing how many ways you can die in campaign and multiplayer. And the other was one that someone in my Boy Scout troop told me, called Sprigs, which I don't remember a whole lot about it, but what I do remember is the sort of Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner-esque dynamic between one of the characters and the titular character Sprigs, who does not talk, and he only sort of communicates by honking the horn of his mongoose. So that's how I even knew of what the hell a Halo was. In terms of playing the game, I didn't own an Xbox for a very long time. I bought my original Xbox a few years ago at an antique shop up in Maine. They were selling it for like $105, which you know, I guess it's a little cheap. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is. But
again, it is our job to finish what the flyboys started. We are leaving this ship platoon and engaging the Covenant on solid ground. When we meet the enemy, we will rip their
I'm sorry, I'm busy being enraptured by Sergeant Johnson's speech.
Right, Marines? Sir, yes, sir.
But when it came to the first Halo game I played,
Double time.
technically I think it would be Reach, but I want to say when I bought my 360, I had to save up a lot of money to even buy it. The first game I had for it was, ironically enough, Combat Evolved Anniversary. So that was the first game in the series I played.
Bringing low-level systems online. Cracking the case in 30 seconds.
Now, as for what we're seeing on screen, I'll probably get back to my little anecdotes peppered throughout the commentary. I hope this time I'm gonna try and remind myself to do that. It's time to say hi to the Jolly Green Giant himself, John 117, the Master Chief.
The disorientation should pass quickly. Welcome back, sir.
I was a little surprised that the game would take me through the tutorial, but I suppose it's because I'm playing on normal and not heroic. When it comes to difficulty with Halo, I find that
no freezer burn. Okay, sir, go ahead and climb out of the cryo tube.
Ages ago I did do and by ages ago I mean like about a few months, I did a heroic run of Combat Evolved.
I gave you a double dose of the wake
and what I found is that it was a lot easier than I expected it to be up to, I want to say 343 Guilty Spark, or the library. So about the back half of the game is where the game started getting to be a pain in the ass.
Okay, that looks good.
Which, you know, is kind of to be expected when it comes to the hard difficulty of the game. But here, they're actually teaching us how to aim. And here they're going to have us switch between normal and inverted. There are two ways of having your look controls. Normal and wrong. I don't really know why someone would have their look controls inverted, at least the up and down. The left and right's a little weird because, for some reason, the Sly Cooper games have the left and right inverted for some very weird reason, and there's, to my recollection, no way to change that setting. Or if there is, I don't remember, and it just, if there was a way to change them, it just didn't feel right. It's weird to describe controls. I think in terms of criticizing or critiquing games is trying to describe the personal experience of actually playing the game. Because how one game would control would feel great to you, but then to another person, it would take a little getting used to, or it just doesn't feel right. That's why it took me a long time to play Dishonored 2 and actually finish it, because I own it on my Xbox One, but it just didn't feel right playing with a controller, and that guy only had 2 days left to retirement. It did this weird thing where it would speed up the longer you would move the controls, the analog stick, which, and these guys got in my way for some reason. Which, it's a weird way of trying to describe it, but when you move the right analog stick, you expect a sort of one-to-one based movement based on how far you're pushing the stick. So for some reason with Dishonored 2, it would do this thing where you would move the stick left, and it would just sort of feel like you're dragging it. And that just felt wrong to me, which is why it took me so long to actually go back to Dishonored 2 until I owned it on PC. I beat it on PC. I didn't beat it on Xbox One just because of how weird that felt.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Report!
It must have been one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Ma'am! Fire control for the main cannon is offline!
Captain, the cannon was my last offensive option.
All right, then. I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn. That means you too, Cortana.
While you do what? Go down with the ship?
In a manner of speaking. The object we found, I'm gonna try and land the Autumn on it.
With all due respect, sir, this war has enough dead heroes.
I appreciate your concern, Cortana, but it's not up to me. The protocol is clear. Destruction or capture of a shipboard AI is absolutely unacceptable, and that means you're leaving ship. Lock in a selection of emergency landing zones, upload them to my neural lace, and then sort yourself for a heart transfer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Which is where you come in, Chief. Get Cortana off this ship. Keep her safe from the enemy. If they capture her, they'll learn everything. Force deployment, weapons research, Earth.
I understand.
The Autumn will continue evasive maneuvers until you initiate a landing sequence. Not that you'll listen, but I'd suggest letting my subroutines handle the final approach.
Excellent work, Cortana. Thank you. Are you ready?
Yank me.
Good luck, Master Chief.
Your architecture isn't much different from the Autumn's.
Don't get any funny ideas.
There's a lady in my head who calls me
don't
Stud
keep it
Muffin.
loaded, so
Keys, what's wrong with your mouth? Why is it like that? You don't even have your pipe. And now it's time for the introduction of one of the best weapons in the entire fucking game. Meet the M6D Magnum Pistol. 12 shots in the clip, 120 maximum in reserve, 1 shot to the head.
Do what you do best.
And with a scope, too.
Want some more of this?
And here is the assault rifle. I don't remember the classification for it. I'll probably put it up on screen.
Going in. That's the way to do
60 rounds in the magazine, 600 in reserve. It's a bullet hose, basically. As for the enemies, we're looking at the Covenant, a collection of different alien species who, through reasons mostly religious, some by force, looking at you, the Grunts, are waging a genocide on humanity. So, here on the first mission, we have 2 types of enemies. We have the Grunts, which are the little orange and red guys. They are the lowest class in the Covenant. In fact, they didn't even get to use weapons for the longest time. It wasn't until, in the lore, they rebelled because another race, the Kigyar, the Jackals, were poisoning them because they were taking up too much space because there's so many of them. And so, once the rebellion took place, and after the elites, the blue and red guys, which I'll describe in a little bit, were like, okay guys, you can fight. We'll actually give you weapons instead of just throwing you out as cannon fodder. Speaking of the elites, the Sangheili is the name of their race. They are a founding race of the Covenant. They are also the warrior caste, too. They come equipped with energy shields. Just like the Chief. So they can be pains in the ass. Because Halo has, in terms of its weaponry, a system where you have the human weapons and the Covenant weapons. Human weapons use bullets and you have to reload them, obviously. And the Covenant weapons, outside of the Needler, rely on batteries because they're plasma-based. So you have the plasma pistol and the plasma rifle. The plasma weapons are best at taking out shields, whereas the human weapons are best for taking out unshielded combatants, like the grunts, like the jackals when we get to them, and the elites once their shields are down. So there's a strategy in place on higher difficulties of employing the plasma pistol and the pistol itself, because it will one-shot headshot. Speaking of higher difficulties, this room fucking blows on Legendary. This is the only mission on Legendary I have completed by myself. And when I say that Legendary is hard, it's hard. You kind of expect it from, like, being the highest difficulty. But, like, you don't expect it to be... You're not prepared for just sort of how difficult Halo can be on its higher difficulties. Like, if you're... You know, you're playing this on normal. Like, I'm breezing through this. I've played this game enough times where... The Pillar of Autumn is, you know, it's the easiest. It's easing you into its gameplay loop and all that sort of stuff. But Legendary is really its own sort of thing.
The life pods are launching. We should hurry.
Oh no, the life... Go to the life pods, please, go. Hey, look, there's grunts. But yeah,
The Covenant are destroying
at least on normal and easy, they sort of ease you into all of the sorts of stuff. Like, even now,
Follow the nav point. It will lead you to an opening.
you don't have the radar. They don't give you the radar until a little bit from here. And grenades? You don't get grenades until the end of the level, like just before you finish. Like, I completely forgot, like, how they sort of space things out.
Covenant movement outside the access ways. Activating motion tracker.
Yeah, there it is. The motion tracker. Enemies show up as red dots. Friendlies show up as yellow. You're in the corner. Or, not in the corner. In the middle.
That door, but it's been damaged by an explosion.
And I messed up trying to sneak there. They're flanking me as I completely failed at shooting. But, as you probably noticed by all the button inputs, I am playing this with mouse and keyboard. It's not to say that I... It's very professional of me. It's not to say that I dislike playing Halo on a controller, because it was designed for a controller. Like, obviously, it's gonna control well. I feel as if, at least on the Master Chief Collection, I feel as if I'm able to get away with a lot more with playing with a mouse and keyboard than I can with a controller. Oh, hey, look, it's the anniversary graphics. I switched here to show off that, as the screen shakes, that they did have another Spartan on board in another cryo bay. I forget I believe the reason Linda 058's there is because she's just, like, recuperating. And by recuperating, I mean recovering from being dead. Like, you tend to forget, like, just how insane the background lore of Halo gets. Like, I was rereading The Fall of Reach a few weeks ago on my breaks at work. And, like, there's a whole scene where the Spartan 2s are training as kids, and they get dropped in the mountains on Reach, and they have to find their way back with, like, scraps and maps and whatnot. And so they all band together and commandeer this pelican that's being guarded by these plainclothes guys. And so Halsey and Mendez call in Master Chief. They call in John. They call John in, and they ask him, "Hey, why did you beat the living shit out of these guys who I specifically asked to guard this pelican?" And John says, "Well, they weren't in uniform, and they responded hostile to us." And so Halsey's reaction to hearing this is just, "Hey, Mendez, make John squad leader." Like, like fucking what? Like, it's just a little nuts if you, like, tend to think about it. And also just, like, just how bad the war is going for for humanity. Like, they allude to how bad the war is going for humanity in, like, I think the instruction manuals and the background lore and all that stuff. I think the one time
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
one time...
Look.
How do I word? Like, the one time that they actually state that humanity is losing is, I think, the intro to ODST.
What is that thing, Lieutenant?
That's called the rest of the game, sir.
Knew it. The Autumn's accelerating.
That's where we're going. That's the rest of the game.
Heads up, everyone. This is it. We're entering the ring's atmosphere in 5.
Will the escape pod be fine? Will the Master Chief show his face? Will I actually be good at commentary? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.